Hey guys! So today we're gonna talk about toxic men and how to stop attracting them. This is the first time I'm doing a video like this and I'm honestly so excited for it. What we're gonna talk about today is how do you know it's toxic, the toxic high, how do you actually stop attracting toxic men, how do you set boundaries, and how do you get out of a toxic situation and find closure. I'm having a red wine with me today. I turned my light, like my background light, and the color red. Because today we're gonna talk about all red flags. Red is not our favorite color, even though I'm a huge red fan. You know, the Taylor Swift album. It's gonna be a longer video, so grab something to drink, let's chill, let's hang out, let's relax, let's talk about men. Cheers! How do you know something is toxic? So in my experience, you have a gut feeling, a feeling something's wrong from the very beginning. If you wanna acknowledge it or not is up to you. So when it comes to me, I see the red flags, but I choose to ignore them. First, I would advise you to listen to your gut and to your feelings when something is wrong and not choose to ignore the red flags. Because if you ignore the red flags, you're gonna regret it later on. I'm talking from experience, and you're gonna be like, I knew you were trouble, shame on me. Other than that gut feeling, when you're like, I'm not sure if it's toxic, I feel like there's always some sort of mixed feelings, some sort of chasing. Does he like me? If you're not sure if he likes you, if you're not sure if he wants you, the answer is always no. I refuse to listen to this advice. I made a million excuses to why he is showing mixed signals, why he's not really committing, why whatever. And the answer was because he did not want me, he did not really... I mean, they maybe like you, you know? They don't make the commitment to pursue something serious with you. And the question you should ask yourself is, why would you want to be with someone like that? Because if you're finding the right person, you will know from the beginning that they like you. They will text you, they will make it very clear that they like you, they will want to meet you. There is no mixed signals and there's no chasing, there is no games that are being played or anything else. You will know for sure if someone likes you. Why bother with someone who is not sure about you? Because you should always want to be with someone who is 100% sure about you, that he wants you. If you have maybe never experienced it, I can also tell you that there are men outside, there are men in this world who will text you, call you, want to meet you without you having to ask them to do that. They will just do it because they want to, because they want you and they want to be with you. But I know, it's fun. The playing games, the chasing, the can I have him? Can I turn him around? Can I do whatever? I know we all like to do that. It's a waste of time, honestly, and you're wasting your time, and your time is precious, and it's 2023. We're not dealing with men like that anymore, okay? There is nothing more annoying than if he texts you one day and then you don't hear anything from them for another week, and then they text you and everything's okay, and then you don't hear from them, or you see them and everything's fine, but when you do not see them, you're wondering what's going on, why doesn't he text, why doesn't he call? It puts a lot of stress on you, and you have to ask yourself if you want to deal with that. Maybe ask yourself, what do you like about them? I saw this on a TikTok and it was so true for me, because when I was in a toxic situation, the only way I could describe what I liked about them, like the first thing I would say was, we just have a connection. We're soulmates. There's just this, you know? What exactly is that? Like, what do you really like about him? Maybe he's funny, okay, and what else? I mean, we put up with men with the bare minimum and literally sit there all day for a mediocre man waiting for a text or a call. And we need to immediately stop. It's not cute, it's not helping, you're only doing damage to yourself. The toxic high is what I like to call it. I have no idea if there is an actual name for it, but if you ever have been in a toxic situation, it feels like you have so much more feelings, like there's this burning and this desire and this, it's so exciting. I learned that these are the wrong signals. These are also red flags, because usually it's not butterflies, what you feel with this person, that are actually anxiety. that are actually stress and fear, that's when you know it's toxic. And once you're in a toxic situation and there is this game playing and chasing and everything, it becomes addicting because this person gives you maybe what you want, like the text, the call, maybe you meet them, whatever, for once, and then you have to wait again, and then you have that stress again, and all you do is think about them all day. It's such a stressful situation, and there's always anxiety, at least in my experience. If I look back on it now, if I think about it now, it was like constant anxiety. I was not more anxious ever in my life than when I was in a toxic situation. And when you meet someone when it's not toxic, you will realize that it feels completely different because there is not this intense high. It might feel boring maybe, and maybe that's why a lot of people distance themselves from people like that, because it's like, but I don't know, you know, there's not this burning desire, there's not all of these feelings involved. And honestly, if it's not, I think it is a very, very good sign. This is a very, very healthy sign, because there's not a chasing feeling. There's not this longing for getting an answer, getting a text, getting whatever, because this person is already willingly giving this to you without having to ask. And if you've grown up in a very, you know, turbulent environment, maybe as a child, or in an environment where there were a lot of fights or something, you will notice that when it's calm and it feels uncomfortable for you, and I totally relate to that. All I can say is that I had situations where someone was, you know, really nice and really valued me, and I knew they wanted me, but I didn't have any feelings for them, and this is okay. Just because you don't have feelings for this person doesn't mean that you cannot meet someone else who is not toxic and have feelings for them. One day you're gonna meet someone where you like them and it's not gonna be toxic, and when you have both combined, you will finally realize how much better a situation can be when it's not toxic. Need a sip in between? So how do you stop attracting them? I feel like for once, toxic men have sort of a sense when you are insecure, when you're not sure about yourself. They have a feeling for it. They can tell, and they will take that to their advantage. And they will say the right things to you. They will make you feel amazing and say everything that you want to hear in order to win you over. My tip would be first being sure about yourself, and first becoming really, really confident, and being okay, not just being okay, but being good on your own. I feel like this is the most important thing, because if you're good on your own, when you can comfortably say, I like being alone, I am a whole person, and every man that wants to be with me can be happy to have me in their life, and you start not asking, do they like me, but asking yourself, do you like them? You're going into a situation with a whole new viewpoint. I value my time, I value myself, and I don't need that. I don't need a child or anything, because that's what they usually are. I feel like they're usually very immature. A lot of times it can also be with older men. They will especially exploit you because you're younger and you're naive, and I feel like this like also really plays into it if you're very naive. And this is not something bad, because I feel like I've been very naive for a long time, and I still sometimes feel I have a naive side to me. I just like to see the best in people, and I like to believe a lot of things. You have to be sure about yourself, you have to be confident, you have to know what you bring to the table before dating men. Because if you're insecure, if you really want a relationship, and if you're not sure about yourself and what you have to offer, you will automatically attract the wrong man. I feel like a lot of it is also mindset. When you're always like, all men are bad, all men are toxic, all men are cheating, you're always gonna attract that. So if you have that mindset, and I was in that mindset too, I was like, you know, if I think that all men are gonna do that, why do I even bother being with another man? You have to change that and realize that there are good men outside. I know they're rare, but there are good men outside, and you just have to believe that one day you're gonna find the right one for you, the right one that treats you well at the right time. And until then, you're gonna ditch all the other ones, because you don't need them in your life. You're amazing on your own. You have to start with yourself and with your thoughts in order to stop attracting them, and you have to leave if you see the signs. And I feel like you can even see the signs sometimes from texting. When I was dating, sometimes I was texting with someone and I was like, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be something when we meet. It never turned out, okay? Never turned out to be. You can usually tell when you're texting that there's something off about the other person, and I highly encourage you to listen to that feeling. If you train that feeling better in your entire life, pretty much, your gut feeling, we all have it. Some of us are just better listening to it and some of us are not. And I feel like I tend to sometimes not listen to it because I always want to believe in the good in the other person, but I think you should always be listening to it because it is telling you something. It is telling you that something is not right. Something I can also highly recommend that you do if you want to find the one and only and you want to stop attracting toxic men is to write down things that you want to have in a man. When I was in my long-term relationship that I ended last year, I didn't do that because I was very young. I was 17, almost 18, and I never really thought about what I wanted in a man. Then after we broke up, I was like, okay, I need to write down which qualities I want in a man, and I wasn't even looking for someone. I was actually planning on being single for a very long time because I was like, I'm done with men, I'm good on my own, I don't want to meet anyone else. I started dating because I wanted to meet other people. It was summer and I just honestly wanted to meet someone and just, you know, get to know someone, not necessarily for a relationship or hookup or something like that, just to have dates and have experiences, you know? I wrote that list and I was like, if I'm gonna find someone that fulfills the things on my list, I'm open for a relationship, but other than that, hell no. I'd rather stay alone than bothering again with someone and being miserable or whatever. You can make this about physical appearance. I, for myself, don't have a lot of things that I would want in a physical appearance, except for I don't really like very short hair, I would say. And maybe I wanted someone who is a little bit, you know, bulkier, you know? Because I feel like I'm not the slimmest girl and I want someone who is, you know, and then you can write down things that you want in a man. For example, you want him to be honest, which is like bare minimum, but you know. You want him to be funny, you want him to go out with you a lot, take you on dates, make you compliments, things that are important to you, and you are allowed to have those things that you want in a relationship, because I personally wouldn't want to date someone who is going out all the time, because I'm not going out all the time. So you have to define what you want and what you don't want in a relationship, because you're allowed to do that if you want to spend the rest of your life with that person. If you're willingly choosing toxic men, it could be a sign that you're maybe not ready for a relationship or commitment or whatever. I know this is also a thing. Maybe ask yourself if you're really ready to be in a relationship and making a commitment, because maybe you're just, you know, avoidant because you know it's not gonna work out with that person. So also start with yourself, start asking yourself why you're always going for the same type of man. Are you afraid to be in a committed relationship, or why are you always going for men where you know it's not gonna work out? How do you set boundaries? What are boundaries? Maybe I should Google it, because I don't want to say anything wrong, you know. I'm not a relationship expert. This is just what I learned in my life in my 25 years. Personal boundaries are the limits and rules we set for ourselves within relationships. A person with healthy boundaries can say no to others when they want to, but they're also comfortable opening themselves up to intimacy and close relationships. When it comes to boundaries, I would say you have to ask yourself what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. And this is only you who can decide this. I would never compare myself to other people. Just because your friend has a boyfriend who is partying all the time and she's willingly accepting that, or she has a boyfriend who is not supportive of her, or she has a boyfriend who talks bad about her or whatever, just because she's putting up with that doesn't mean that you have to. You can have your own boundaries, and if someone's treating you like shit, I mean, there should always be a boundary in my opinion, but you know, I don't know. I think a great example for boundaries is liking other girls' Instagram pictures. For me personally, this is a boundary, and I made this very clear in the beginning of my relationship, that I said, I don't want you to like other girls' Instagram pictures if you know them. Let's say when it's work related, you know, it's not half-naked stuff or whatever. I honestly don't care. This is my boundary. But other than that, just with random girls, I'm not okay with liking pictures. I'm also not okay with following random girls. If someone follows a lot of girls, especially half-naked girls or models or whatever, for me personally, this is a red flag. And I wouldn't even want to date someone like that, because I don't want to tell them to unfollow them, because it's like there's from the beginning there's this weird, you know, if you're already following all of them, what content have you been consuming until today? And I don't this is just for me. I feel like some things are just also bare minimum, like having respect for you and listening to you and supporting the things that you love. Like, for example, my boyfriend supports my Taylor Swift obsession like nothing else. He completely understands it. I talk about everything Taylor Swift, like all the conspiracy theories, new albums, new music, we're listening to it, we're watching the videos, we're watching TikToks, stuff like that. And it's nice if someone's not making fun of you. Like, I don't need a partner who tells me that it is ridiculous or childish or whatever, because I love it. I love being a fangirl. It's fun to me. It's a nice aspect of my life. And for me, it's obviously very important. I think I should also mention it's also okay for the other person to set boundaries, and you have to choose if you then want to be with them, because I from the beginning said that I like to post bikini photos on my Instagram, and if he's not okay with that, then this won't work out. And he could have said this is a boundary for him, that he doesn't want that, which I think is totally fine if someone wants to say that. I mean, it's usually a sign of insecurity, but I feel like we're all insecure, so I'm not really judging that. But I don't want to be with a person like this. I want to have my freedom, you know? I want to wear whatever I want, obviously. And I want to post whatever I want, obviously. So you have to always decide that for yourself, what works in your relationship, what you want to have. And maybe also write down your boundaries before you're getting into something with someone, because you tend to forget that if you're in love and, you know, things are great and whatever. Something I also want to say with that, to balance trust and control. You need to trust the other person in order to have a relationship, a functioning relationship. I struggle with trust a lot, and I realized if I ever wanted to control something, you just want to have more control. Like in the beginning, my perfect ideal would have been that I can stalk his Instagram all the time. I know everything, every girl, maybe even have the password to the Instagram and literally see everything and control it, which I'm now realizing this is not what it's about. There is a certain trust that you need to put into the relationship, and trust that the other person is not doing anything, because they're also, you know, out and about living their own life, and you need to trust that they're not flirting with random girls or something like that. And trust only builds with time. For me, also with proof, seeing that he doesn't do anything. If they break your trust one day, you will find out. You just have to trust that you find out. You just have to know and promise yourself that you're strong enough to walk away from a situation that doesn't serve you, from a person that broke your trust and doesn't value you. I feel like with the wine it gets harder to focus on the points I want to say, so cheers. Honestly, one of the funnest videos I ever did was the baking drunk video. Like, I had the time of my life in this video. How do you get out of a toxic situation? I feel like this can be very hard, and it depends on how long you've been in a toxic situation. If you are dealing with a narcissist, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, if you don't know what a narcissist is, I would highly recommend looking it up if you feel like you are in a toxic situation or in a toxic relationship. And if you are, maybe ask for help, maybe ask friends, family, therapist, whatever, if it's really, really bad and you feel like you cannot get out of it yourself, or if you're scared of the other person. Other than that, I would say going no contact. I know how hard it is. I know, but let me tell you, when I was in a toxic situation, whatever you want to call it, I was always like, kind of like, okay, now I'm done, walking away, kind of like still hoping that it would work out, I don't know why. And then we would see each other in person again, and then I was like, oh, we get along so well, and he's so funny and sweet, and it would start all over again, okay? Do the right thing and go no contact. You really have to want this in order for it to work. Also, don't let them lure you. Do you say it like that? Lure you in again by them saying that they might change or something like that, because they don't. They never change. It's just another waste of time. It's just another waste of energy. It just prolongs the whole thing. If they also only ever have, you know, the right words to say and never show any actions, run. run as fast as you can, because if they're only talking and talking and nothing's ever happening, promise you, this won't change. The exciting part, I guess, seeking revenge and getting closure. Closure is a very interesting topic, I think. So if you want to have closure, you have to give that closure to yourself. Don't text them. Don't send that very long text. Don't call them. Don't try to explain yourself. Don't tell them how they hurt you and what they did wrong, because they know. They know that they hurt you, they know what they did wrong, and they're still doing it to you. And you know why? Because they don't care. They don't care. Maybe they have feelings for you, maybe they care about you a little bit, but why does it matter? They don't care about you enough to not hurt you. If you want to say something, if you want to write it out, write it in your notes or write a letter and burn it. Don't waste the energy and tell them, because the only thing that will happen is that you will regret it and you feel stupid probably. Walk away without explaining yourself. You don't owe them an explanation. They don't owe you an explanation, even if you think they do. I think you know all the answers why they treating you bad, and you know, them treating you bad is about them. That says everything about them. It says nothing about you. If they lie to you, if they don't treat you well, and you don't have to blame yourself, you don't have to feel bad, you don't have to feel ashamed or anything, they should feel bad. They probably never will, but this is not your thing to worry about, you know. Walk away, live your life, find someone new maybe, work on yourself, then find someone new eventually in the future. Focus on yourself, because you're only ever gonna have yourself. Focus on your friends, family, whatever. Work out, do your career and go to school, whatever you want to do, and literally try to forget about them. They're not worth your time and energy anymore. You probably already gave them more than enough. All you can do is remove yourself from that situation and heal. You owe it to yourself. Have that peace again. Honestly, you will feel so much better. You will find yourself again. I feel like a very common theme if you're in a toxic situation is that you're losing yourself. It's great to find yourself again. You will find a new strength after that. You will feel so much stronger and better and happier. I know I say this very easily, just remove yourself from that situation. I know how hard it is. It takes a lot of crying. It takes a lot of anger and frustration, and know that you're not alone. A lot of people went through this. It's only gonna get better from here on. Revenge. You know, I feel like in my teenage years I used to be huge on revenge, and I always wanted to get my revenge and, you know, get back to them or whatever, or have someone new to make them jealous or whatever. Usually, you know, they don't care. It's just another waste of your time. If you're trying to convince them that they lost something great or whatever by, I don't know, posting pictures or on your Insta stories or posting lyrics onto your Insta stories, I know where you're coming from, because we all want to do that. We all want to get that revenge picture or whatever it is, or look really good or whatever. You still can do that. Don't do it for them. Have your FU moment if that's what you want to have, but at the end of the day, they don't care, and why would you want to waste even more precious time on someone who obviously doesn't care about you, and you want to prove to them your value when the right man will see your value without you having to prove that to someone, you know what I mean? There is a lot of power in walking away and becoming indifferent and finding peace. Not be angry about the situation, not be sad, not to feel anything about that situation. And I know it feels like this will never happen, but I promise one day it will happen. You will become indifferent if you don't expect the other person to owe you an apology, if you're not seeking revenge, if you're just walking away from that situation and healing yourself, and you won't care what that person does or what that person says or anything. All you care about is yourself. And this is the most amazing thing, because now you're living your amazing life, being happy with yourself, being pretty, being gorgeous, whatever it is, you know, I mean, you are amazing, you know, and they're probably still in their sad life and doing this to the next person, and they will probably never experience happiness in their life because all they know is toxic, and all you can do is feel sorry for them. I personally like to wish people the best after that, and yeah, even though they will probably never have that because they're usually not good people, and bad people attract bad things. That's just how it happens, and that's just how it always is and will be. Men also respond better to silence than to you proving your point and proving yourself through photos, stories, whatever you want to do. If you want to have them back, I don't know why you would want to have them back, but if you want to, I would recommend staying silent or walk away from them. They will probably want you at a point or not, I don't know. Some people say they always come back, but why would you want to be with them? Why would you want to do that to yourself? That toxic situation will never get better. You will always be miserable being with that person. Once you remove yourself from that, and once you walk out of that, and once you find yourself again, you will notice how much happier you are and how much better your life is gonna be, and everything's gonna change your life. Everything is gonna be so much better. You will attract better people into your life and better situations. You will feel better, look better. It's just gonna be amazing after cutting out toxic men, or in general people out of your life. Yeah, this was our first chat about men. I feel like I have so many more topics that I would like to cover. So I don't know, let me know if you want to see that. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like that. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, or if it helped in any way, because this was the only reason I wanted to do this video. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! It's the wrong hand! That's why it feels weird. Bye!